probably while you're getting them dressed, someone's gonna have a blowout or someone's gonna have something happen, and it just takes so much longer. And maybe this is giving you too much of a peek behind the curtain, I don't know. It's going to take like an hour to grab one thing. There's definitely moments that I feel like, oh my goodness, like I have no idea how I'm going to do this. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be doing like a life update, how the transition from 2 to 3 has gone, just kind of a chatty what's going on in my life, heart to heart, as if we were getting coffee and just sitting down together and talking. I also will timestamp this video since it is a more chatty update, so you can jump forward if you have like a specific section that you were wanting to listen to. I got the idea for this. I was Marco Poloing a couple friends. That's how I keep up with a lot of my friends that don't live here locally, and even some of my friends that do when we're just doing day in, day out life and we're not seeing each other every single day. We'll use Marco Polo to catch up. They were asking how the transition was going to adjusting to having 3 kids, and I was kind of sharing with them, you know, what that has looked like for us. And I was like, you know, I really should just share an update because a lot of people have asked me in Instagram messages and things like that as well, and I was like, I should just share this in video form on YouTube. This would be a good video idea. So this is going to be just kind of a general life update, talking about the transition from 2 to 3 kids and just kind of updating you on what's going on in our lives, because I love doing the vlog style videos and they're super fun, and I do feel like I can share life just as it happens with you guys through the vlogs as well. But sometimes sitting down and just actually chatting and not having to film every piece of my day is a little bit easier. I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but I have switched to doing 2 videos a week instead of 1 video, and I've done that for the last few weeks, and that's something that I really want to stick with. The challenge with that has mostly been on the editing side. If I'm doing a video that takes a ton of editing on the back end, like if I'm doing a full day in the life or something like that, that takes a lot of editing to get all of those different clips and piece them together to make something that is actually interesting to watch. And so what I really would like to do is to have one kind of video that takes a little bit more editing time that I'm super intentional about and can give you a lot of value in, and then have the other video be more of like a come along with me style video, whether that's a vlog or a sit down and chat about whatever topic, like something like that that doesn't take quite as much editing time. And I don't say that to be lazy. I hope that you guys would know that. Obviously I am still transitioning to having 3 kids, and just in general I have 3 children that I'm chasing after, and so really I just do YouTube and kind of like the pockets of my day. And so doing 2 videos a week, if I can cut back a little bit and do 1 video that is just more natural, like real life kind of stuff, which I like watching anyways, and I like filming that anyways, and I've gotten a lot of good feedback that you guys really like day in the lifestyle vlogs. I did a poll recently, and the day in the lifestyle videos and then a little bit of everything kind of mixed in, day in the life, motherhood, homesteading, all of that were the top answers. That's what I'm hoping to do moving forward. Hopefully that gives you kind of some idea of what you can expect from me. And you can let me know in the comments if that is something that you would be interested in, or that you like kind of the more raw, natural kind of videos too. So we're testing that out with like a sit down and chat kind of video today, and we're just gonna pretend that we're sitting down and having coffee. Also, yes, there is a laundry basket in the background of my video, so clearly this is a real update for you because I didn't even clean up my laundry basket. Whoops. Okay, I have my iced coffee, and let's chat about the most asked question lately. And I don't mean on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, I mean just in general by everyone I know, is just how is the transition from 2 to 3 kids going? And I'm gonna try and just be candid here, because a lot of times I'm the kind of person that I really want to pick my words carefully. And not that I'm not real, but I just want to be really intentional with what I'm saying so that my message isn't like taken the wrong way. And I'm gonna try and like not overthink this and just talk like I am talking to a friend. And maybe this is giving you too much of a peek behind the curtain, I don't know, and maybe that's weird to say, but I tend to share things that are kind of weird to share publicly, that a lot of creators or people that are having businesses online or anything like that don't share, because I feel like it's helpful to see the behind the scenes of what that actually looks like for a real person. I don't know, maybe that's weird. Okay, I'm also going to be up and down because my baby is sleeping at the moment, not on me, which doesn't happen very often, but she keeps spitting out the pacifier and waking up, so I have to keep putting it back in. But anyways, transition from 2 to 3. Obviously, I'm only 6 weeks into this, so my opinion could very well change in a few months, so come back and ask me then. But for now, I think I would say that this is not the most difficult transition. I feel like before we had Payson, a lot of people told us that 2 to 3 was like the hardest transition that they've had. And then we did have a few people that said it wasn't that hard. Like, you already have two kids. So you don't really have a lot of free time as it is. So then going to 3, you just have less free time when you didn't have free time to begin with. So it's, you know, it's just kind of throwing them in the mix. But there were a lot of people that said 2 to 3 was their hardest transition, and then once they went past 3 and had 4 kids, that one was like, oh, just throw another kid in, like no big deal. So we weren't really sure what to expect. I feel like with all of our kids, we haven't hyped it up too much as far as like worrying about it before the kid even gets there. Matt and I both are kind of like, you know, obviously we can think about it and prepare and all of those things, but you never really know until the kid is actually born. Every child is different, you know, their personalities are different, all of that. And so we've always just kind of been more on the side of, we're just going to see how this goes, and then as issues come up, we'll deal with them then. But there's no use in really worrying about it and fretting about it before it even happens, and it could even be a super easy transition. So we felt the same way this time around, so we didn't spend a whole lot of time, honestly, like before she was born, worrying about it. I mean, obviously we would talk about it and be like, oh my goodness, like I can't imagine actually having 3 of them, or, you know, different things like that. But we didn't spend a lot of time like being anxious about it or anything. But anyway, so far I feel like it has been a pretty good transition overall. Like I said, we're only 6 weeks in, so we'll see. But yeah, I feel like overall it's been really good. Our kids have adjusted super well, so that's probably just helpful in general. Both of them have not really struggled with jealousy. Knox has a little bit been jealous of the attention that Camden gives to Payson, because obviously they're like best friends, Knox and Camden, and before Payson was born, you know, Knox got all of Camden's attention, and then now that Payson's here, Camden and Knox are both obsessed with her, and so they're both spending a lot of time giving her attention and wanting to be with her, and so Knox has felt a little left out with that. But Knox is also like my super cuddly, very attached to mama kid, and so we were really worried about the transition with him on how he would do adding another baby in, and he's done really great as far as that. He does not like freak out when I'm nursing her and can't hold him if he needs something like while I'm nursing her. He's patient to wait when I tell him, okay, we need to wait a second until I'm done feeding her, you know, or whatever. And obviously we still give him lots of snuggles, and like we try to give him one-on-one time and all of those things, but he's done really great, and we were really impressed. Both of them really have done awesome. So we haven't seen a whole lot of like behavioral things change. My kids are toddlers, they're both young, they're 3, and then Knox just turned 2. And so there obviously have been behavioral things that come with being a toddler, but they were things that we were dealing with like before she was born as well. So I don't really feel like it is because of her or because of the transition or anything. I think it's just normal toddler stuff. And because all of our kids are so close in age, you know, we have 2 toddlers and then a newborn. So there's definitely moments that I feel like, oh my goodness, like I have no idea how I'm going to do this. You know, I have the 3-year-old who is struggling with something and needs my help, and then the 2-year-old is having a meltdown, and then the baby is crying and is hungry. You know, there's moments like that where I'm like, okay, I do not have enough hands, I don't have enough patience, Lord, please give me the strength in this moment. So there's a lot of prayers like that throughout the day, but really like it has been good overall. I think the hardest thing has been kind of just restructuring my days to find the pockets of time to get things done that I had before. So Camden and Knox would play independently really well. Even if I'm like in and out of the room, I could, you know, have them play with toys or read books, you know, for a set amount of time, and be in and out playing with them and keeping an eye on them, but getting dishes done and laundry done in the other room. And I could get a lot done with just the random pockets like that throughout the day, even when they were awake and, you know, needing things, but also playing on their own. Does that make sense? And now that looks a lot different, and so that has really just been the hardest thing, because, you know, the time that I had before that they were playing with each other and I could get stuff done, now I feel like it always lines up that Payson is needing to eat at that time, or she needs to be changed, or she's just fussy and needs to be held and bounced and, you know, calmed down, all of those things. And then nap time, like whereas before I could lay them down and pretty much I had this uninterrupted time to work and get stuff done, as well as before they got up in the mornings. Now that has been a struggle, because pretty much no moment of my day, to be honest, is like not with a child needing me. It's how it feels right now. Now granted, she's only 6 weeks, so she eats very frequently throughout the day. She still wakes up, you know, at night. Obviously she's only 6 weeks old, but that has been difficult, like just trying to figure that out, because I'll get up at 6 and like make myself actually get up so that I can get stuff done, and then she's still, you know, needing me or needing to eat and not really wanting to lay down by herself, and same for nap time. So it's a lot of up and down, and it's a lot of finding 5 minutes here and there to work on something and then needing to do something else and just keep coming back to it. It's taken a lot of discipline to keep up the things that I was doing with YouTube and the other business things that I'm doing, just trying to get things done with the time that I have. Anyways, yeah, that has been kind of just the biggest adjustment, is just not really having a super solid schedule. I do feel like we have a good layout for a schedule at this point, but every day looks different, and part of that is just like my work looks a little bit different every day depending on what kind of video I'm filming or editing. Like that changes some, and then because Payson is still so little, I just feel like her needs change, not every day, but it feels like pretty often. You know, we'll have a couple days where it's like I figure something out, and if I wear the wrap, then I can just wear her in the wrap for like 4 or 5 hours straight, and she'll just sleep really solidly, except like, you know, needing to eat maybe one time in there or something. And then a couple days later, even that is not working, and I have to figure out a new system. So yeah, we're definitely still learning in that, and I'm sure there will be a lot of that because babies change just so frequently. But just, yeah, trying to get things done, even not work stuff, like just like household laundry and dishes and things like that, trying to get it done in a reasonable amount of time when I sometimes feel like people need me constantly. So hopefully that doesn't sound negative, because I feel like it took a negative turn, and I didn't mean for it to, because really I do feel really good overall. I have also been really impressed this time around, like how quickly I've gotten back to my regular rhythms. Like laundry, I literally was doing laundry the day I got home from the hospital, and that did not happen with the other two. And you know, keeping up on dishes and getting back to like baking sourdough bread and cooking from scratch, and a lot of those things, I do feel like I just was able to get back in the flow like really quickly, honestly, compared to the other two. And I don't know if that's because it was my third kid, you know, third time around. I'm kind of getting some idea of what to expect like in the postpartum period, or if that's because I just have a lot better rhythms and routines in place than I did with the other two, because that also is true. Like I've spent a lot of time over the last couple years making some really solid rhythms for just a lot of various different tasks and things that I do daily, so that I don't have to think about it, so that I can clear like the mental clutter out of my mind. And that has been super helpful this time around for sure. I also don't know if the reason that this transition has felt easier is because my first and second are closer in age. So Camden and Knox are 16 months apart, and Knox and Payson are 22 months apart. And you wouldn't think that 6 months would make that much of a difference, but honestly it really has made a, like when Knox was born, Camden was 16 months and she could walk and talk and do a lot of that stuff, but really the only thing she could help me with, I feel like, was like getting me a diaper. That's pretty much it. And she was young enough that, I mean, she was honestly like still like a baby. I mean, she was a toddler, but a very young toddler. And now I look back at things, I thought, you know, with your first, I just feel like you don't realize how little they actually are because it's your first and you think they're so big once that second comes along. And now I look back and see kids that are 16 months old and I'm like, she was literally tiny. That is so small. And she couldn't do anything. And even Knox being 22 months when Payson was born, he could talk so much more. He could go and get things. Like, not that he can do everything on his own. He's still in diapers, you know, some of that stuff was the same. He's still in a crib. Some of that was the same, but I just feel like he was so much more capable being 6 months older than she was. And then on top of that, having a 3-year-old also, that has been a game changer. Like, Camden is literally so helpful. I have been so impressed. She's always been independent anyways, but if I go to change her, she'll get me the diaper and wipes before I even ask. Or if I tell her that we're gonna go on a walk or go outside, she literally will go and grab my wrap for me without me even saying anything. And not even expecting her to get it for me, thinking that I would go get it myself. And before I can even go get it, she's brought it back to me so that I have it and I'm ready to go. She can help hold different things, you know, she can hold Payson too, obviously with supervision and stuff. But I don't know, it really has been so helpful having a 3-year-old. They can do a lot of things, and I'm sure those of you that have had, like, I don't know, 5 or 6-year-olds when you've had a newborn, they can do obviously even way more than that. But to me, having a 3-year-old when my last experience was having a 16-month-old was the oldest kid I had, it feels like a world of difference. So that has been amazing this time around. I will say, in the transition from 2 to 3, leaving the house is definitely the hardest thing. and it takes a long time. I feel like if we want to go somewhere, which we go places like by ourselves when Matt's at work multiple times a week. We have multiple like play dates or different things that we go to in the mornings, and it's not even like loading the kids up necessarily, although that is a whole adventure in itself. I need to like do a time lapse of that sometime, because all 3 of our kids are still rear facing, and so I have to buckle all of them in like by myself. Like none of them can, well, Camden could buckle herself almost fully by herself. Knox can't yet, but she can't unbuckle herself, so either way I have to get in and help. So anyways, it's a whole process going back and forth to all the doors, getting everyone buckled and like ready to go. But even before that, you have to count backwards, obviously, from the time you have to leave. You got to leave buffer time for the time you're going to leave, because you're probably going to leave later than that, and then you got to leave extra time for you to prep too, because probably while you're getting them dressed, someone's gonna have a blowout or someone's gonna have something happen, and it just takes so much longer. That is the one thing Matt and I have looked at each other when we're trying to just like go to the park or go to the zoo, like something just really chill, and it takes us like an hour and a half or 2 hours just to get out of the house, and we're like, is this even worth it? Like, this is so ridiculous. I mean, that includes obviously like giving them a meal and getting them all dressed and ready for the day too, but sometimes it's just like, okay, this is a lot of effort right now. So that's like a whole thing. I will say I do not drop in places without planning, literally ever, and I don't just like run into the store to grab one thing, because I'm like, for me to go grab that one thing, I have to get 3 children out by myself and go inside and get it, and it's going to take like an hour to grab one thing. So I plan very much so that I can be efficient with my grocery list and get it all ordered at the same time, go pick it up. Grocery pickup is amazing. If you're not doing it, you should change that, because it literally is so helpful. Anyways, so yes, getting out of the house is a whole adventure. It is possible and it is doable. This is the first time that I have been home by myself with a newborn at all, and definitely with 3 kids, because for the other 2, Matt was home and we were full-time entrepreneurs together, and so although we had to like, you know, obviously work too, we were both home, so we could trade off. Or if Matt was working and I was with the kids, you know, and something came up, he could just come out of the office and come help me with whatever. And this time around is not the case, because he has a, you know, normal job now out of the house, and it has been a different experience not having him here, but we're doing it and we're getting there, and it's great. It just, yeah, it's a busy life, that's for sure, but a very full life, and we are so grateful and so happy, and truly love having 3 kids. I highly recommend. As far as general other life updates, it's spring, so we are starting seedlings and getting the garden ready, and I feel like just doing a lot of homestead things right now. Our goat is about to give birth in the next couple of weeks, so we have that coming, and then we're going to be taking a couple more goats to be bred to kid in the fall. So we'll be milking soon the goat that is kidding too, and just kind of figuring out who we want to keep of our goats and who we want to sell. We have a few different like transitional things that we're kind of working on with our herd for that. And then, yeah, getting the garden going. I don't know, all the things, cleaning up from winter and all of that. So it's really busy around here. The kids love being outside, so a lot of days we're just trying to go outside and just spend time out there just running around and playing and all of that, because the weather has been beautiful. But it's also just a busy time of year with family stuff too, so we're trying to like balance that, because last year we had so many projects we were doing because we did so much in a small amount of time. We were building a lot of things and we just felt like we had no like rest time. So we're trying to be intentional this year to not like overwhelm ourselves completely, that we don't have any time to just rest and like let the kids run around and just enjoy watching them instead of constantly doing projects, because I think a lot of people with homesteading can burn themselves out really quickly too. So as much as we love all of this, we're trying to like pace ourselves, because we did get a little burnt out with it last year. We loved it, but also it was like, okay, it feels like the list of things is never ending. And I think the list of things is kind of never ending with homesteading, because it's that mindset of always wanting to do more and always wanting to learn more, which is fine, but you have to balance that with also resting and like having that downtime and not feeling constantly tied to doing something, because I think that can lead to burnout so quickly. So we're trying to do a better job at that this year, so hopefully we will. I guess you can follow along to see if that works out or not. But we have a few different things for later this year. We're thinking about doing meat chickens later this year and building like a chicken tractor. We're looking at some options for pigs actually. We'll have to share about that in the future. It wouldn't be here in our backyard. But anyways, I don't know, we have lots of different ideas that we're thinking about, so we're kind of trying to finalize some of those plans so that we can be planning for them financially and just time wise for the things that we want to do this year. And then we are also like looking for another property, so we'll see what ends up happening with that. But that's kind of where we're at right now, and I hope you don't mind this chatty like life update. I don't know, let me know below if you like this style video, and I can do more like sit down kind of just casual type videos, because it is, I will say, a little bit easier on busy weeks to film something like this than to film like a really in-depth tutorial or like whole day in the lifestyle video. I don't know, let me know your thoughts on that, because we're kind of in this journey together, and I definitely want to create content that you guys actually like watching and is helpful to you and all of that. And sometimes it's hard to come up with ideas that, like, I mean, I have ideas that I think would be fun to watch or whatever, but sometimes it's hard to figure out what you actually want to watch and what would genuinely be helpful for you, which is definitely my goal in doing this. So if you have anything in mind, let me know. But thank you for watching, and if you're new around here, I create content around backyard homesteading and motherhood and family life, all of those kind of things, a lot of day in the lifestyle videos, and I would love for you to join our little family if you like that kind of content. So click the subscribe button so that you can watch all of our videos and see our goat have babies and follow along with all the homesteading adventures that we get up to this year, as well as just growing our family and all of the family life things that we share as well. Thank you guys so much for watching another video, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye friends.